My name is Namlu, and this is Assignment 2 for Fall 2022 CPSC 3125 Operating Systems. The purpose of this assignment was to utilize forking processes to emulate a Linux shell that we can input commands into. The assignment required us to emulate 6 commands: mkdir to create a new directory, ls to list the contents of the current directory, pwd to show the current directory name, vi to launch the vi file editor, cat to view the contents of a file, and finally rm to delete a file from the directory. We were originally going to perform cd to change the directory, but cd was not present in the bin file, so we omitted that command. It's relatively simple. First, it calls the system to clear the screen so that the command prompt is the only thing that appears. We then initialize PID, input, and a pointer. We create a while loop with 1 as a condition, so it runs infinitely. It prints the command prompt as well as the working directory. And after receiving input, it forks the process and creates a child process. We reach an if statement, and if the PID is 0, that means that's the child process. So it runs that. Else, if PID is not 0, then it's the parent, which waits until after the child terminates. After that if statement, we reach another series of if statements that checks whatever command we inputted. Because we're only working with the 6 commands that I've mentioned earlier, these will be the only commands that work in the shell. Any other command is labeled as invalid. The commands use the execl system call to execute the code, which locates the command in the bin file before executing that command, as well as any arguments that the user also inputs, if necessary. After executing the command, it loops back to the beginning of the while loop so it can receive another input. So now that we've explained the code, let's try running it. Running the program, we can see that the screen has been cleared and the command prompt has appeared. We type in ls, and it lists all the files that's in our directory. Next, we type in pwd, and that prints our current working directory. Now, let's try making a new directory. mkdir, and then we'll name this directory shell dir, and then when we type in ls, you can see shell dir right here. So we successfully created a brand new directory in the shell. Now let's try creating a new file. We'll make this a text file, and let's call it shell test.txt. And it creates a file. Let's try typing something into it. How about this file was created using an emulated shell. We finished that. Now let's try looking at the file using the cat command. We'll type in shell.txt, And that's the same text that we typed in earlier. So both the editor and cat work. Finally, before we do that though, before we move on to our last command, let's try listing the files again. As you can see, shell test is right here. Let's see what happens when we try removing it. Now let's ls, and shell test.txt is gone. And I believe that's it. Let's Control C, and that should be the end. Thank you for watching, and goodbye.